I don't think I'd do it for that. But that's how it goes.
I mean, that's like it went to school. I mean, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm go dry. I'm
What
hauling.
did the board say? Anything?
Well, they seem to be alarmed by it. They just like they didn't know there was any problem.
Okay, Julie.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to introduce, I have the mayor from Rake, Louise Hagedorn, here today. And we're just talking about a tax sale certificate that the county holds since 2016. It's some property on Main Street of Rake that they have been maintaining. So they would like to have the certificate signed over to them. But we kind of got a little problem, which happened on Friday, late Friday afternoon. The person that owns the property called and wanted to know what they owed for bringing this all up to date. They were going to send a check in the mail on the weekend to pay for this. But I'm just going to let Louise explain the money that they've got wrapped up into this property, so you guys know what the city of Rake has done for the property.
Okay.
Well, the property is right on Main Street, has to be maintained. So we just automatically, even before we knew that somebody had picked it up, started mowing. And we did send them a letter, it was December, I think, of that, yes, that following year, and they had picked it up during the summer, evidently. Anyway, informing them that we were charging $30 each time we mowed it. It got no response. We have not heard from them at all. We have continued mowing. I do not have total bill, but you know, to get compensated for the mowing, I'm sure we're going to have to go through our city attorney. But if we're not going to get compensated, I guess we'll have to go on their taxes, put a lien.
This is an empty lot then?
It's an empty lot. It used to have Gertie's. He did. What all did he do?
Yeah, like repairs.
Repairs, and we took the building down, and then his son. Well, it was kind of mixed up. His son, I think, just let it go on the tax sheriff's sale. And evidently this gal picked it up. I don't even know if she knows where it is. But yeah, if she is not going to pay us for maintaining, then we just soon get the property.
Where is this person from?
New Hampton.
The person that holds the property right now
And why would
New
they want to?
Hampton.
is in New Hampton, and they were a tax sale buyer back in.
Oh, they just buy property off of tax
It's
sale,
an
no matter where it's
investment
at. They
sale.
have no connection to Rake whatsoever.
No,
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have the check for the back taxes?
no. So this is, it went to tax sale years ago, then they got the certificate, or they hold the deed to the property. Well, then in 2015, when the taxes went out, they never paid them. So it went to county held in June of 16. So the county actually is holding the certificate on this property. Then these Jobins called late Friday night before we left work here and said, how much do I owe on this so I can bring it up to date? We'll send you a check. We have not received the check as of yesterday. And I visited with Kelsey this morning, and she said, you know, maybe we'll just let you guys know what's going on with this certificate in the property in Rake, and we should actually give the Jobins through Thursday to see if the check actually comes in. Or,
Okay, does
You know,
this,
it's
so could we make a motion to give it to Rake if we don't have the check by Thursday. Could we state it that way? That way we can get it done this week instead of waiting till next. Is that what you would like, Louise?
Yes.
I was
If
just going to
that
ask,
works.
does the city of Rake want this, or would you just assume they brought it up?
You know, it's not like we need another property.
No, I would guess not.
But in the same breath, there might be something we can do with that.
Use it for development of some sort.
Right. We did have some interest in putting on storage. And it's prime place for it. I mean, it would be great.
Storage is hot.
So, yeah, it is.
Well, this was an outside investor doing this, right? We know we owe no allegiance to that person, right? That be your opinion?
No, I'm not worried about them.
Because the
I
other
just want to do
thought-
whatever Rake
All
wants.
right, yeah.
The other thought
Right.
I had was if the city wanted to submit a claim by May 1st of 2019, we could do a special assessment against that property. But if they haven't paid the taxes up since 2015, are they going to pay the special too? You know, it'll go back on tax sale again.
So, as far as City of Rake, will they just turn that deed over to us? Do we have to pay? How does
Yeah,
that
there
work?
would be a $10 certificate reassignment that the city has to pay.
That's it.
And then
And
you
we
have
would
to,
Well, you would-
and we
you
would
would
have
want-
to abate the taxes.
Yes, you
Well-
would want somebody, a lawyer, to look at the deed and the abstract, and, you know.
Right.
typical
To get,
stuff.
yes.
yeah. And then when I talked with Ellen, she had mentioned paying just the back taxes. We'd have to abate the tax sale. But the
Okay.
back taxes was $149.
And we are willing to do that. I have visited with council, and
When
they
did-
were
when did-
all.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they're fine with it.
When did he call and say he was going to send the check?
Late on Friday.
Late on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we get him till.
Okay, Kelsey suggested till Thursday.
I know.
Yeah, so I said we would just put it all out there to you guys. We're kind of caught in the middle because the city, you know, I can see where they're coming from.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It doesn't take 4 days to get a check here.
But
If he
it
said he
gives
put it in
them,
on Friday, so.
in case somebody's procrastinating or something, it gives them time, more than reasonable time, I guess, to send a check, which.
Okay,
So we just wanted to
well, I'll make a
inform you
motion to
guys and-
discuss it. If it gets a second, we can discuss that. I'll make a motion to give, what's his name?
James Jobin.
James Jobin till Thursday to pay his taxes and arrears. After that, we will abate, are we gonna abate the taxes?
The tax sale.
Tax sale, okay, we'll abate the tax sale and work with Rake. Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, did you get that motion, Carlo?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just questioning,
Okay,
are we
what?
complicating the motion too much? We could maybe abate it after we know that this has happened or not.
Well, if he doesn't, it's gonna be abated and it's gonna.
I just
we're gonna get
want to
the
make
Rake.
sure that he doesn't get the abatement.
That's not how it was stated. So-
No.
Okay.
No, and he was told the full amount from back in 2015 plus the tax sale. So he was given the full amount that would need to be paid as the landowner.
Any
So
other
if
questions?
he pays his amount, then this
Yeah.
motion is,
Yeah.
No.
It's no,
No.
yeah, exactly.
and then the city should go ahead and submit to me a bill with interest or whatever as a one-time payment on that property, at least it'd be on the property as a lien.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there sidewalk on this?
No,
Okay.
no.
They tore out the cement and everything, did they? Because
Yeah,
it used to be
it's-
cement coming
it's
out from the
just-
street. Yeah.
It's grass,
Yeah.
all grass.
All right.
It's a corner property.
I've driven by there many times. I just haven't paid attention.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
Did you have any
All in favor, say
Sounds
aye.
good.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
answers? Okay, well,
Thank you.
Until Thursday, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, 9:15 is taken care of. Bob called me and he had talked with, remind me.
They're here to talk to us.
They are here. Oh, okay. All right. I guess they wouldn't have to come. Bob called me late last night and said it was all taken care of.
Scott's not here.
Okay.
No, I have not had any problems.
Brittany,
Brittany.
Scott, Jim.
I'll be right here.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
How's it going?
Good, yourself?
Can't complain.
Good.
Morning.
Gloomy day out there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the pavement was dried off. We were due for a rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm sorry you drove over here. It really, it sounds like you and Bob got everything straightened out.
Yes, getting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
getting there, okay.
Yes.
So, I'm not sure I have any questions.
That's okay.
And that's
We
okay.
had talked, when we originally presented and met, we wanted to come quarterly anyway.
Yeah.
So we've got
Yeah.
just a couple minor updates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One, I guess the good news is that the deductible credit report is
Yeah.
finally processed
Yes.
and you've reached out.
Yeah, there were a couple employees who had been in communication with me about, hitting their deductible and out of pocket, and I wish if I could change something, I would change many things. But that would be one thing I'd change, is it just takes, a couple months to get processed into the new carrier, and so we got notice from Health Partners, I think 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, that report was processed and sent to the carriers. And I've been working with a couple employees who had bills, where they had met their deductible, and letting the provider know to hold off on processing those payments until that came through, and it did. So that's been going well.
I guess we would say if anybody hears of anybody that hit their deductible and paid too much in this stretch, or a complaint at any department,
Let us know. Mm-hmm.
Brittany can call the provider, they'll reprocess, and it should get taken care of. It's just anytime you move mid-year, the best business practice is to wait 45 days after the move, because you only get one shot to
request
get
it.
that feed. So we try to make sure if somebody had something done June 26th, we want to wait kind of as long as we can to make sure that that money and claim gets accounted for and credited with Health Partners. But I would say, anytime you switch companies, there's minor tweaks here and there. I would say, based on our experience, half the time people are happy because their copay improved a little bit. Half the time, maybe a drug fell into a different category, they owe a little bit more on a copay. But we think, based on our experience thus far with Winnebago, we haven't had a lot of issues. And our other groups too with Health Partners, it's been, I would say, relatively smooth. It's always tough for employees on a change, but
And we did some research too, and we asked Health Partners, because part of it is we want to better understand too, kind of where their policies come from, how they're written, what they look to, and they did come back to us and say, we look to the law and make sure that we're within the guidelines, any acts that are passed, related to that specific policy, just to make sure that it's in line. And I would say they're middle of the road in this particular
policy as far as, what their restrictions are, or I shouldn't say restrictions, their, allowable
Yeah.
amounts, so,
Hopefully after the first of the year, we'll have some reports to kind of just share where we're at for claims.
Yeah.
I think the employees hopefully will love, one of I think our biggest reasons for moving to Health Partners was a couple, the rate guarantee, and that we don't have the second EOB with the partial
Yeah.
funding and less risk to the county too. So hopefully it only gets better.
yeah.
We've had a real good experience.
Good, okay. And yeah, we like to hear good experiences, bad experiences, like, that's what we're here for, and,
You don't really want to
good
hear the
luck
bad
with it.
experiences. do
yeah.
you?
We usually get bad, so, like, I feel like I'm better with bad, like, than good.
We've had really good luck with it, and it has
Good.
the deductible once it's met for us.
Good.
And I want you to know I'm not very good at computers, but I like the webpage, and I can go to it and understand it. So
Good.
it's easy for dummies like me.
Well, and we like to relay that information back to Health Partners too. Like I said, good or bad, because they're newer to the Iowa market, and so anything that we can relay to them is good.
Because I know when I went to medicine, it said that zero balance. I said, oh my God, they did
It
actually
was
what they
us.
said.
Never happens. Right. So, well, that's good.
Well, and we always stress, to department heads too, that we do not work. We're independent.
Yeah.
We don't work for Health Partners. We work for the employees and the board. So don't be shy if something doesn't look right. You're not going to offend us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want. It's we're on your team. And
Yeah.
Yep.
We deal with it too. With it. So. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, again, I'm not sure it was necessary to come over. Thank you for
Okay.
coming over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you bet. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a pitch up at
Sounds
home.
like
She's thrilled to come back.
I'm like, I gotta see
Yeah.
that
What are you doing next
today.
Are you going to stop and say hi?
Yeah,
Way home?
yeah. So, but I was like, oh my gosh, great, you're coming home. But no, like Brian said, that's what we're here for, and we want to make sure that you guys know we're on your side and to take care of you. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
You bet.
thank you guys.
You bet. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you guys. Sweet.
Okay. Resolutions.
Okay.
Is there a publishing that has to be done before we approve any of these?
No idea.
I think it would be a good idea to have the publishing done, or have it to where people can, because there's a whole bunch of people that have not had a chance to read the one for the wind turbines anyway. I would suggest that we table that one until next week.
The one.
The one, yes.
The third one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a single mom's one.
Yeah.
So we could probably approve individually and table the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we'd probably table.
Yes, ma'am.
That was sent to us by Matt, but not, the public hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah. He sent it to a few of them as an email, but he didn't send it to all.
Upon request.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do these singularly.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution number 180918A, the First Network special exemption application.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Terry, seconded by Bill to approve the resolutions You get the number? Okay.
1809188.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Did you say 188?
No, 180.
18.
180.
18A.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Aye, I guess I never said it.
Other resolution?
Then I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 180918B for single moms in loving environment.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll second that. Motion by Bill, second by myself to approve resolution number.
180918B.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then
We'll table that one, right?
do we have to make a motion to table it or just table
Just
it?
table it.
What's the, is
The
it
wind towers.
18C?
Oh, yeah.
Number 918.
Maybe, I wonder if we shouldn't do it as a motion, so it was identified we wanted it published. Isn't that what your intent is, to publish
Well,
it
at least
or not? In the Buffalo paper?
I never did get. By the time I thought of it yesterday, I didn't have his cell phone number. I was going to see if he was going to put it in the Buffalo paper anyway.
Okay. Is that
He
something we
did
wanna
get
find
emailed
out?
a copy of it, and I have to talk to Andrew and see if he's going to put it. But if
A
it
week
was going to
doesn't
be,
matter.
if he was going to put it in the paper, it had to be in there by last Friday.
Yeah, a
or
week
this
doesn't
week,
matter
so-
for this resolution, so
right.
we should table it, yes.
All right.
Okay, so we don't need a motion.
You are up.
Oh, okay, well, here we go. So, I found out that I levied DD 5.5,
Where is that?
Elliott's, for engineering fees. And I don't know if I should have. And it was, it's in my outstanding, so I just levied everything. But Doug Tweet brought it to my attention because they wouldn't have needed an engineer had he
Not
not dug the ditch. But we had hired an
Oh, wait a
engineer.
second.
We had hired an engineer
To do
to
what?
see what needed to be done.
No. That's
And in the
John's business.
meantime, well, but some of this is after he dug the ditch.
That's
and then
irrelevant. I mean,
There was
the
a problem.
engineer's not gonna look at the ditch and say, I'm gonna engineer this according to the ditch. He's gonna engineer it according to what needs to be done.
Right.
So.
But now we have the fee of him digging the ditch. So
Huh? He didn't charge.
we've had bills after he dug the ditch
From who?
from the engineer because they were trying to figure out if he engineered. I mean, we tried to figure out what he should have done with the slopes and all that.
We're talking about
Yes,
Elliott's.
go ahead.
Does anybody know anything about a Brian Chatfield calling in?
No?
Because he said he talked to
Oh,
somebody.
yes.
And they,
Yep,
okay,
put it-
because
yeah,
he's
put him
on the
line.
phone.
Can we hold this?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to transfer
Yeah,
him
please
over?
send him through. yeah.
Okay, sorry. I didn't.
Which agenda item is this?
It's that, well, doggone it. I'll just let him explain. We'll have, not to discuss it, we'll just have to let him explain.
So how do we open this? We just push a button?
She'll call, I think. This has to do with the timbers? Okay, just answer.
Oh. Yeah, just push that button up there, it's flashing.
Hello?
Hello, this is Brian Chatfield down in Floyd, Iowa, Chatfield Salvage and Towing.
Yeah, Brian, we got our engineer department here, and I'm sorry, I forgot to put it on the agenda, but you go ahead and state your case, and we will listen. We will listen. Unfortunately, because it's not on the agenda, we cannot respond. Okay?
Okay, I'll tell you guys what I know and what's happened, and you can go from there on understand. To start it out with, I came to your sale in the spring that you had, and I bought 178 6 by 16 by 16 foot long bridge timbers. The pile that I bought was not all 16 footers. On the back side of it, they had some miscellaneous shorter ones. Okay? I called up there after I bought them a week or two. The timeline's going to be a little fuzzy here, but it was a week or so afterwards. You guys got a bunch of snow, like everybody did. I told the man, and it was Neil, I believe I talked to. It was Aaron or Neil, one of the two. So I had to call about loading them. They said that not a problem. We'll wait till it dries up to get rid of the snow. I said that's fine. Afterwards, it started raining up there. I called a couple different times to see if I could get them loaded. You guys had washed out roads and bridges and problems. And the man on the other end that I talked to said, if you don't need them, they're fine sitting here. We just got so much work going on, we can't load them. I said, that's fine. I don't need them right now. I left them sit there. A couple weeks ago, I called up there to get them, and I probably left them sit there a month or two too long, but they never called me back like they said they would either when I told them to call me when I could get them. So I called up there. And they said, well, I don't think there's any out here. So they went and looked, and they called me back. They said, no, there's no timbers like that out there. Gave me the number for the county engineer. I called him up, and he says, I'll check into it. I'll go up there and see what's going on. He come back and says, there's no timbers up there like that. I says, well, then I need to see if I can get $750 back if I'm not going to get the timbers. And he says, I can't do that. You're just out. We can't guarantee against theft. Now, you guys got a fenced-in gate up there, a locked gate, and these timbers weigh 400 pounds apiece on average at 16 foot, so they didn't just walk out of there. He knew exactly how many I got by the 2 truckloads, because I had a semi picked up 90, and I picked up 45. Okay, after the fact, he tells me they're all gone. A week ago, last Sunday, I got on my motorcycle, and I drove up there. After I got a receipt from the auctioneer house, I drive up there and there lays exactly 43 timbers in a pile shorter than 16 foot, and they're within 20 foot of where I bought them. They just restacked the pile. I called the county engineer back. He says, I told him they was up there. Well, he says, I didn't go up and look. First time he told me he did go up and look. Now he's saying he didn't. So I said, well, the timbers are laying there, I need to pick them up. Well, they're not yours, you can't have them. I would like to pick up my timbers, is what I'm getting at. So you guys discuss what you want to do and let me know how you want to handle this, but I'm not going to give up. I want my timbers. There was no timeline of getting them out of there. Your man told me they was fine sitting there, and he would call me when he could load them. That's where we're at.
We have our engineer foreman here, second in command. I'll let him address the issue.
Okay.
So I guess first of all, the terms of the sale were 30 days, and that was announced the day of the sale by the auctioneer repeatedly, meaning we're not responsible for your property once you purchase it. That's any auction. That whole north fence where those were piled was empty before we started our bridge replacement projects for this year. So those particular timbers aren't there. Where they went, I have no idea. Once again, it's not our responsibility to take care of property of people who buy property on the auction. And I guess I would point out that if you did go out in that yard the day you drove up, you were trespassing.
I didn't step on your yard, sir. I was in the field behind it. I'm smarter than that. Okay. I've been around. I'm not no dummy. The exact numbers I'm missing is in the pile that's there at 43. That's pretty coincidental that there are new timbers there. You know, that's exactly what I'm missing. I guess you guys decide what you want to do. You can listen to him, but it's a locked, gated yard that nobody can get into to steal anything. They're going to report him stolen is what he told me, that I got to call the sheriff. I'm going to go call the sheriff's department, report him stolen, and then I'm going to get a lawyer on this. I'm not going to back up. I'm not wrong. The man told me they was fine there because you guys had problems. I tried to work with you, and now they're trying to stick it to me. I'm not going to put up with it. So you supervisors decide what you want to do. You're his boss. We'll go from there. but I'm not going to listen to him tell stories. They're there. I looked right at them. I don't know what his game plan is and why he wants them and what he's trying to pull, but it's going to look pretty funny in the Winnebago County paper where this stuff's been stolen right out of your yard when it's supposed to be locked and fenced and they load them. He knew exactly how many I got, and that's what I'm missing is what's there. So you guys do what you want to do, and we'll handle it from there. But you can call me at 641-398-2338 with your decision of what you want to do. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Okay, I apologize again. This is Mike, the guy you talked to, Stensrud. Can we put this on next week's agenda so we can respond to you?
I would suggest that you do that and respond back to me so we can figure out what we're doing. But I'm not going to stand still for what he's trying to do to me. I worked with you guys because they had problems with the road, and your man up there told me there's no problem leaving shit here. Now there seems to be a problem.
Okay, number again is 398-3338.
Nope. 641-398-2338.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll put it on the agenda for what time do you want to do it? Should we do it right away?
Yeah.
Well, let's put it on the agenda for 9:05 next week.
Okay, do I have to come up there?
No. We can do this over the phone. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Will you call me because I just had to call your office 4 times to get through.
Okay. Yep. We will call you. Yep.
Okay, that will work.
Thank you. Yep. Okay. Can't discuss it. So. All right. Any other stuff?
Are we back to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so back to Elliot's. So we hired an engineer to look at the problem. Well, in the meantime...
Tile problem, not the ditch problem.
Right.
Yeah.
To see what we could do. In that meantime, after we hired the engineer, he dug a ditch. So then our engineer is trying to figure out from that ditch problem, what is the ditch right, is it not? I inadvertently assessed the landowners all of the engineer bill of $10,000.
He should not have had to check the ditch because that was a privately dug ditch. It doesn't matter. Yes, he dug through the county tile.
He did.
That's the only cost that should be to Elliot, is checking that.
Right. So I need to find out the dates of the invoices to know what should be a district problem and what should be an Elliott problem.
The only Elliott problem would be the engineer checking the depth of where he cut the county tile, correct? Check to see if it screwed that up.
He designed a fix to that also. I don't know how you would want to look at that.
Well, it was a fix that needed, it was something that needed to be done. Okay.
Did it get fixed?
Well,
No, the tile is, no, we haven't, the only thing that's been done is that ditch.
Yeah.
But then after that, the NRCS was here and said...
Oh, they finally showed up.
Well, they were at a meeting,
I don't remember.
A couple months ago.
quite some time ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
So they determined? Have they determined?
No, they were here a long time ago.
I don't know, the last time I talked
Yeah, but
about it.
I haven't heard a determination.
Yeah,
There hasn't been a
Yeah,
determination.
all right.
Right.
The NRCS said the tile needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they said that day, and then I thought we were all in agreement that Elliot was going to replace the tile, basically from the main back to the road.
Well, we were gonna hold off on that to make sure that that's a reasonable fix, or repair, get it back to the way it was. So, and I haven't heard the engineer's report on that, but that's a reasonable fix.
Well, I don't know if we ever went back to the engineer. I thought we kind of put that on hold because we were
The
waiting.
last thing I've gotten is we're waiting on the NRCS for a determination. That's where I'm standing.
So when you say determination
Wetlands.
of whether the tile needs to be hooked up,
No,
or
whether
just
the ditch-
wetland determination. Okay.
Whether the ditch can stay there or not, right?
Well, I'm not sure we even want the ditch to stay there.
I understood them, and I could be wrong, but I understood them that meeting we had here, that the ditch couldn't be there, and the tile needed to be repaired. It was the only thing that the district.
Well, it was all.
From a district or for NRCS?
From the
Can you call the
NRCS.
NRCS and get a letter from
Yeah, I
them
think-
stating what?
I don't know what that would matter to them. It's just wetlands is all they're
Yeah, they'd have to make
Well,
their
because-
determination because of the ditch is a private ditch, right?
No. Well, yes, it is.
Or did we
But it
annex it in?
tore up a county tile.
Yeah.
It's a private ditch.
So do you have to have a wetland determination for a private ditch?
Oh, I'm sure you
If
do.
he's in the program.
I'm sure you do, yeah.
And the way I understood it is we were waiting to find out whether the ditch would have to go or not.
See, and I understood that day that it didn't. That was that, I can't remember that guy's name from Eldora.
Yeah, the
Right.
NRC, yeah. where
And
it's
that's the
from.
guy that
Yeah.
Elliot's waiting on some determination from for all these months. And I
Was
don't
it
know.
Vancouver? Clover?
No,
He
he's
was
Elizabeth
there.
Thompson.
Yeah.
He's an engineer, I think, from
The district office.
Okay.
So
We have a lot of unknowns here.
Right,
Would you please call the NRCS guy?
I will.
Okay.
Yes.
all right.
So then I need
Then
to
I think
know,
we can go from there. Yep.
well, the problem is these people were billed, and I don't know if they should have been. Do they owe this bill or not?
He would have had those engineering costs anyway.
But $10,000?
I can't.
I
That's
don't
why
know.
I hate engineers.
Right. Because in
No,
September,
I shouldn't say that. I don't hate engineers. I hate the law behind it.
Yeah.
in September of
I know
17,
what you
they
mean.
charged $5,300, and in October of 17, another $4,700.
Let's get
But
an
this has been going on
let's
for
get an itemized
2
bill
years.
from him to see what he did. And
Okay.
if it's related to the ditch, then yes, Elliot has to pay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, what do you want me to do with the landowners right now? Does Doug need to pay this bill, or should he wait and not pay that bill?
I think they should pay the bill, and obviously they will have more work done in the future, and probably not too far in the future. That can go to credit. As a credit, then they have credit for it. They will work, you know.
Well, I don't believe that, because if the tile has to get put back, that's
No.
Elliot's bill.
Well, if we're not
And
sure,
if he has to fill in the ditch,
No,
that's
but
Elliot's
we've
bill.
also
No, but
I don't know the
there'll
district.
be a lot more work. If the tile has to get put back, there'll be a lot more work, because I know to the west, there's collapses and stuff. So there will be a cost. Correct, Mark?
I think that means Elliott destroyed a district facility. I think that's 100% his bill.
That
Just what he destroyed.
yeah, but one of the things was is that he destroyed a district facility that wasn't working.
Right.
You know.
There was part of the tile that they could tell was already bad,
Yeah.
but there was a length in there that they couldn't determine if it was operational or not.
And so even the exploration will incur a cost, I'm sure, close to what that is.
So right now,
I know.
the NRCS has told us we need to hook the tile back up.
No, not yet. That's not my understanding.
I thought they
They
did.
did.
I thought so.
Oh, okay.
So just that little part by the ditch, all they have to do
Yeah.
is connect the two parts. So when we do that, I think it's going to show up that anything to the east is going to show up the problem, that we have a problem with that tile.
Mhm. Yeah, I remember
Well,
hooking
the
up
west
the tile.
too, because I know
West
for a
too.
fact that it's half full of sand now.
Right. Yeah.
Because it got tore out, so.
So because it
I
got
would
tore
just-
out, is that now Elliot's problem?
No, I don't. It wasn't working. It wasn't working at all. And so,
Some
in
of
my-
the expense
in my
would have been
opinion-
incurred fixing it without the ditch.
well, we got to go by law too, so we'll have to check this, obviously. But Elliot should be responsible for hooking it back up. And as
I
far as
really think, so here's my take on it. the 40 to the east. There used to be a fence line in there.
Wait a second, on the other side of the road?
No,
Their parcel.
yeah. So from the ditch, going east, that used to be.
I'm sorry, which ditch?
Well,
The west
main
ditch?
The main.
Okay, the main ditch,
So
okay.
from the main ditch going east, there was two different parcels.
Okay.
It used to be, so there was a fence line. And generally, from that fence line and east was the part that was no good.
Yeah.
And from that fence line and west was good
Was.
until they tore it out. And then now I know that
Well,
it's,
we're-
the part that's left is Evans.
Okay, I just gotta make sure we're on the same page.
So are you saying where it got tore out is about the fence line area?
Roughly.
Yeah. Looks like it's halfway up the ditch.
Okay, so, so from 190th Avenue, is that the fence line you're talking about?
Well, you can kind of see it here. If I can-
Right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so this little piece, see, Evans owned that whole thing over to the ditch.
Yep.
There used to be a fence line right there.
Okay.
From that point to that point, it was good. That last quarter mile is where it was bad
Okay.
before.
Okay.
In general.
And I think until we know exactly who owes what, I don't know whether they should have to pay the engineering fee or whatever. I mean, until everybody knows, I think we'll just hold off on it would probably be the,
I'd like to get
Most
most
people-
people statement from the engineer.
Right.
Yep.
And I can do all that,
Okay.
but I'm still back to the landowners. I'd rather not have them pay ahead.
Yeah, okay.
So that would be great.
So then we would, as the county, just keep this until next year and when it's all sorted out then?
We'll hold the warrant. Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Anything else?
Okay, so I don't have anything else that's not on the agenda. Did you guys?
I have nothing. You guys, got any drainage issues?
Lots of them.
Okay.
Oh.
We'll go on then.
Oh, are you serious? You have lots of issues?
13 inches of rain in 2 weeks
Oh,
will do
so
that.
nothing to do with actual agenda.
DD 3430 reclass.
Okay, I got a bill for some work done on lat 4, which is fine, but it's not classified by laterals.
No, it's not
So
yeah, I didn't have much room to put it on.
either the whole district pays or we reclassify it to.
I thought that's what we were doing. We reclass.
That's what I'd like to do, but I need your approval.
I'll make that motion. I'm sorry. I'll make the motion.
I'll make it the motion.
Okay, I'll second it. Motion by Bill, seconded by me to reclassify. Say it again.
3430.
3430. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. DD 92 reclass.
And we've already approved this.
Yep.
This is the contract.
You need a motion on that?
No, we've already approved it.
Yeah, to approve the contract though.
Yeah. 2 steps.
Oh, I'm sorry. Make a motion to approve the contract for 92 reclass.
I'll second it.
Motion by myself, seconded by Terry to approve payment contract with Jacobson Westergaard for reclassifying DD 92. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Invoice DD 1 subway.
Okay, this is one that Helgeson did the work on, and oh wait, so you're all listening. He had sent an estimate for $21,000, so that's fine. I sent a letter to the landowners, and in the estimate it said repair and like outlet repair and seating will be extra. Well, I didn't send that little part to the landowners. The bill came in $10,000 higher because of all of the outlet pipes they had to fix, which is fine because the district pays it. And I did talk to Helgeson and said in the future, and I'd like all the contractors to know this, give me an estimate, give me an idea on 5,000 feet, how many outlet pipes do you normally do? Because $10,000 is a lot different when there's not a lot of landowners, so their bill is going to go up considerably. So I just wasn't very happy.
How many were there?
I was going to say that we're talking a little over a mile. And I had a discussion with him, and he was talking surface drains, and I said, well, some of those surface drains aren't even uncovered on the beyond the bank. I wouldn't do anything with those, just the ones that are tile.
Right, and he did a 12-inch, an 8-inch, a 6, 12, 16,
Wait a second.
12.
Start over. I gotta count. Would you read
Oh, there's 11 of them.
11, okay.
So
For how, what was it, 10,000?
$10,000 extra dollars, and then the seating was $2,800.
So 7,500 for the tile.
72.
Yeah, the estimate was $21,500 and the bill is $31,800.
In your experience, what is that? 7,000 for 11 outlets? Is that out of the line?
And here's the bill you can see.
No, that's probably not too far out of line for them with the different size pipe, but I'm assuming they're metal outlets.
Yeah.
Some are concrete.
So, assuming somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 40 feet apiece, that's not too far out of line, no.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them was
Thanks for being here.
16-inch cement outlet.
Yeah. So I just told him in the future if you could give me
It's not out of
a
line.
better
Yeah.
estimate for
Nobody
me to give the
likes-
landowners.
Nobody likes
Because-
surprises,
Right, that's my problem.
even if the surprise is something that was going to happen anyway.
Right.
Yes.
And so when I told these people, oh, your bill's about $6,000, well, now how much is it going to be? And they didn't know that. So
Didn't call me.
that's my
Here's
concern.
my number.
So, so I want you to approve that invoice.
Oh, well, that's not mine.
I can make a motion to approve the invoice for DD1 sub 1 repairs.
I'll second that. Motion by Terry, seconded by me to approve the invoice to Helgeson Drainage for DD1 sub 1. All questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Was there something else with it, or that's it? Stamped out?
No, you don't have to stamp it because I'm going to do a claim form. I
Alright.
haven't done that yet.
It's just a
So
while
you
to
will
process
next
it.
time. Yep.
All right, county claims, we'll put that down at the bottom. Open forum.
Oh, sorry.
You get to do all the drainage meetings for this week. Okay, so I have just a couple things. This. So my question is, how do they think they're going to pay for two new people at $70,000 apiece when they're negative $8,000 in their fund?
Well, we discussed that at length. Ruth will no longer be getting a salary, they're not hiring. They need a nurse, but they're not hiring one right now. Okay, right now. So actually, it'll be less than what Ruth's salary was, and the nurse will quit. Okay, that Allison will be taken off the 40, I can't remember what she, 48, I think. So we can take that away, we can take Ruth's salary away, and it should be a wash, close to a wash.
What happens when you replace those nurses that quit?
Well, this is the discussion we're gonna have to have at budget time. What we as a county wanna do with public health. But because this was mandated by the state, we no longer can have Ruth Merchant as a nurse, executive, and the administrator. They split them up. No longer can do it. So we got to have an administrator, and then we have to have an administrator for nurses. So what do? And this is the discussion we're going to have at budget time.
Everybody else has to watch their money and be careful and not overspend and do this and that. And all of a sudden we're going to do this and then have to hire 2 more nurses.
We're not hiring 2 more nurses.
We will eventually.
Well, the state
that's not necessarily true. If the trend continues, yeah. And that's the discussion we're going to have.
Well, the state mandated all kinds of stuff as far as jails go, and we had to build a new one because of that.
I understand that.
But, I mean, so therefore your budget didn't stay the way it was assumed it was going to be.
But the jail is making us money.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not.
Well,
our operating budget compared to what we take in is not making us money. No, it's not.
It's taking the pain out of, some of the pain out of it.
I would like to challenge, we're in open forum, we probably shouldn't get into too much discussions like this.
Fine. You can put it on the agenda if you want.
Yeah.
But,
I do have.
Maybe would you like to put it on the agenda for next week?
I don't care.
I do have
Put it on the
questions.
agenda.
I do have questions I asked you about the jail and the revenue coming in, how we can use it. Did you ever get answers on that?
Well, the jail, part of the money goes to the clerk of court, part of the money goes to the Board of Prisoners Fund, part of the money goes to general fund.
When you say part, what part?
I think the jail gets 60% of it, the general fund gets 40%. I believe is the breakdown.
Okay, let's stop the discussion. We'll put it on next week. We can discuss it next week. It'll be legal.
It's a received.
the
It's a
point is,
dilemma. I agree it's a dilemma. I don't know what we do. Like I said, and this isn't breaking the rule. We are going to have a very frank discussion about how we want to fund public health in Winnebago. Because it's becoming a nightmare. When they switched it over to private funding or insurance, it's turned it into a nightmare. So.
and my point wasn't to criticize what happened with the jail. My point is to criticize what unfunded mandates do to people.
Exactly.
And then the state gets to say that they're cutting taxes, and then we're going to get to take credit for having to raise taxes. So I assume that our state politicians are going to come help me campaign on the fact that I have to raise taxes to cover for, you know.
Yep. Okay. We done with open forum?
So I need those 2 back, or I need those
She's
back.
got stamped.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I get the right numbers on here.
No, I'm sorry, we're not done with the form.
September 52.
We have chairs in that.
I would like to weigh in on the paranormal outfit wants to
Yes.
go to their own building.
Yeah.
You guys read what's going on in Hancock County as well as I did, and they,
No, I haven't. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, Duncan Heights, you can't go into Duncan Heights anymore into that building unless you're wearing Tyvek suits and have respirators on.
Really?
And that old building, I would like to have, before you guys grant anybody permission to use that building for anything, I would like all 3 of you to come over and walk through that building.
Well, there's a simple solution. No one goes in there.
That's what I'm after.
It's as moldy as Duncan Heights is?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Right.
But then Beth Billieu and Melissa What's-Her-Face has been in there many, many times.
Outside of commercial, no one goes in there outside of.
But they're only in there for a couple hours, or, you know, if an hour, and these people are going to spend all night. So,
Yeah. Hancock County won't let you go into the building without respirators and Tyvek to even walk through the building.
oh, this is just.
Well, we were supposed to ameliorate the asbestos, correct?
Yeah, it's a mold, Mike. It's the mold that's thick.
The mold.
The last time I was in there, I walked down the basement, the mold was probably a quarter to a half inch thick walking down the stairs to the basement.
We need to talk to Kelsey and Billy, you. And if somebody wants to look at it, sign a, I don't know, sign a waiver, I don't know.
I mean, it isn't.
It's getting closer and closer, just tear it down. Mark, tear it down.
Can you make that a motion?
In your spare time.
Yeah. And mold isn't all the danger that they cracked up to be either. I mean, the Thompson School there, that whole basement was full of mold, and I spent probably a better part of a week down there getting rid of the mold. And 2 of us did, and neither one of us had a problem either. So
all it takes is one.
yeah, no, you take somebody.
And I maintain that same building now. It's just airflow is critical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Closing up a building that's block and brick is not conducive to an environment.
No.
Point well taken. Yep. So how do we want? Well, we can't do anything anyway. So
What did you guys do with the Board of Adjustment resolutions? Did you table that?
Oh,
We
it's
passed
at the
2.
bottom.
Oh, you did pass them?
Yeah,
2 of them.
two out of the 3.
We tabled
Not the.
Oh, okay.
the turbines.
Okay.
There's a gentleman who wants all your emails about the wind turbine stuff. Do you want me to just give that out, or?
Public
It's on
information.
the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Open forum. We're close enough to 10. We'll go discuss Aiden and Marie Kelly. PD 54.
And my husband's on his way.
That's right. We can wait a little bit. We'll go. We can wait. We can wait.
Oh, do you have those
Yep.
resolutions then? So I can-
Yes.
You have to sign
I
this one.
signed it.
The one is a table there.
Okay, this one's table.
The other one's stamped on the back.
I just want to make sure I got all
And
stuff
I got
that-
Sign one of those.
This one is, that one's the one you table.
Yeah. There's one that was stamped on the back that you signed.
You signed that one already.
Okay. Let's talk about the county social services.
Did you already do the claims?
No,
We can do them. No,
We can do
yeah.
that.
I'll take a motion on them. I've looked at them.
You need to pass them down. I didn't email them to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't
I was
see
going
it.
to say, I
Because there's just a few.
I must have
I was
looked
gonna
at
ask if
I
I
must have
missed
looked at
any.
last month's and not deleted it.
So there's 2 that I had in there.
Oh, boy.
There you go.
They were just
Better look at
extras
them.
that I had.
I can't believe I hadn't deleted that one. I've always had this question. How come some warrants are $1,000 and some can be, I'm sorry, forget it.
Because they
That
can
part.
be up to 5,000, we still stick with 1. And if it's a little bit over, I add it just, if it's 1,042, I just make it 1.
Okay, all right.
I'll make a motion to approve the county claims.
by Terry, seconded by Bill, to approve the county claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. DD 54, Aiden and Marie Kelly.
Here.
Issues. Yep.
Issues?
Yep. Let's hear from you.
Well, it's, everybody knows how much rain we've had, but I drove up to Lake Mills. I had to bring the mower up there on irrigating, and some of the ditches were full, going up to Lake Mills, up on 74. And then I had to go pick up the mower yesterday, and most of them were down. And there was nothing up that way. There was, even in the first rain, they had more surface. But there was nothing that any place around that looks like in Graper's Field. The water is just, when all the work was done, last year, it was supposed to drain faster. There's something preventing it from draining. I'm not saying there wasn't a volume of water, but it's just not draining, and it wasn't even before the June rain. I didn't bring it up at that time, but I said, I thought we were supposed to get better drainage after the culverts were opened, enlarged. And it's just not happening.
Do you have any answers to that?
I'm not finished with everything yet. I'm still looking at stuff.
Give mine.
I got extra copies. The first thing that I handed out is a picture that I took Friday afternoon on the drive, or looking at it. And the second thing behind that is, first I talked with the Harv Construction, who did some investigation out there, checking the tile to see if it was still functioning, flowing, and from what they informed me was that the tile seemed to be flowing full, did not seem to have blockages anywhere that they could see or that they found during their investigation. It was essentially functioning as you would anticipate. They said that if they would stick a shovel down in the intake, there was enough water moving through there, it'd twist the shovel on their hand. They couldn't keep it perpendicular to the flow or back it up. It is a low spot through there, as you can see. It takes a while to drain. I can't speak to the culvert issue. That's the first I heard of that, or that they were upsized. The second thing I handed out, doing some research, I found a letter from Jim Witt back in 2008, which was investigating this issue at that time. Said the county went out and did some checking on the tile, and at that time found that there were not any issues with it, and their recommendation was to build up the driveway so you'd be able to have access. And the way the letter reads, the Board of Supervisors approved raising up the driveway at least somewhat as part of the drainage district cost, and then recommended that if it's still an issue or needs to be done again, that the driveway should be raised up at the property owner's expense.
Did they do it? Did you do it at that time? Raise it up?
The district paid to raise it.
They did,
I
okay.
don't remember, 1.5 feet or maybe
Okay.
2. So when you say raise, they brought in one load of rock.
No,
That was all they did.
We brought in several loads, but
Just rock?
we established
It was
a
rock.
point to raise it.
Yeah, but why is this the only spot that's not raining? We were a month, walking in and out. I know there's a lot of water, but I drive around other areas and it's raining.
So if you go back to the
Just
letter,
a second. Up elevation, is there anything draining into this that would really exacerbate this flooding?
I don't believe so.
No?
Not that I know of anyway.
Excuse me, it does all drain from Pilot Knob down around through that whole area.
Okay.
So all the water coming off Pilot Knob wraps down around. If you look at the drainage area, that's where it's coming from.
Okay.
So it does drain a fairly large area.
There's a
it's
fair
also
amount
draining under the
upstream
road
of this also.
from the north.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's draining both ways and stopping at our intersection. That's kind of what I call it, the intersection.
Well, there was an issue west of us here for a number of years with drainage, and I believe that the party that was affected had finally dug a ditch, and it resolved the issue, apparently.
Refresh my memory. Have you put a petition in to get this fixed? They have.
To explore it.
To explore it. Okay. I would put a petition in for an improvement to get this fixed.
Okay.
And then it's up to the district. If you get the, what is it, 60% of the
You
owners?
have to have 70% of, 50% or more of the landowners who own 70% or more of the land.
They can turn it down.
They can stop it. Because right now, if it's, say, a 3/8 inch coefficient, and you go up to a 1/2 inch, you're talking maybe $500,000-$600,000 to improve it. And if landowners stop that, then the project just stops.
So
It would be way more than that.
I haven't put a pen and paper to anything for sure yet.
Just
but
an elementary
It
estimate.
would cost a lot less than that to haul gravel.
correct. That would be a lot less expensive to bring in, even if you scraped off the gravel, brought in 2 foot of clay, had the culvert so it can drain across the driveway, and that would be much, much less expensive than putting in.
So can that be done at the district's cost? Can't.
It's a private driveway.
It was before.
But it's a solving a problem for the district at a much lesser cost.
But the water still won't go down, it just won't be over the driveway.
No.
So the problem's still there. It just
Well,
won't
yes,
be over
but
the
it
driveway.
Well,
solves
the other
a
solution
problem.
is many hundreds of thousands. So
I-
the guys in the district.
I don't know.
I would have to do some research on that to give a firm answer one way or another. I don't know that off the top of my head. If you could do something like that.
Our hands are tied by statute. I mean, we got to follow statute. The state law is so close on this stuff that
But there's, FEMA did declare a disaster area, and there's funds available. The governor yesterday declared disaster area for this county. They're recognizing that there's issues. Maybe if our house was that much underwater, we'd get all kinds of money. So if we can't get to our house for a month, we're supposedly liable.
do you have a guesstimate what it would cost to raise it a couple feet?
You're looking at quite a distance there. No, not really.
I would think
Dirt is cheap, clay is cheap.
I would think somewhere between just a ballpark guess, 20-ish thousand. I think you get it raised up.
That's what I thought.
And improving the drainage to drain this, would that benefit the landowners on their drainage as far as farm ground goes?
Well,
In that
I would
area.
say the biggest hindrance to improving this one is most of it's grass. There's
Most of it's
hundreds of
wetland.
acres of wetlands
That's why,
and
because
CFP, so those landowners,
So my guess would be that the landowners probably you're not gonna get 50% with 70% that are gonna go for this probably. So the next solution is raising the driveway.
And so if you raise the driveway, does that change the flow of natural water?
No, we'd have
Good.
to put
I'm glad, I didn't know.
We'd have to put a culvert in there, I would guess, that
And that would be fine.
handle
Okay,
the
good.
water.
And if you were to improve the tile, because this is kind of in a low area or a bowl, at least that's what it looks like to me. If you start figuring a 3/8 inch or a 1/2 inch drainage coefficient per acre per day, the amount of acres that are coming to this low area that looks like it's been doing this for a number of years, it could take 2 weeks or 3 weeks just to drain, just because that's all the more the tile is designed to handle. Whether or not you start looking at an improvement or not, it could still be 2 weeks plus just before it drains away with the amount of water we've been getting recently.
Yeah, no, it's.
Which section do they live
The drop from an intake behind, for example, Torgerson's house to where the outlet is on the ditch is just a little under 10 feet in about 3.5 miles. I don't know what that tells you for a drop, but the tiles are not big enough probably to handle that much rain.
No,
Drop should be fine.
we have this problem countywide right now.
There's the water.
Just drive around the countryside and look, and it's all the mains are undersized. There's been pattern tiling done everywhere.
That particular one, there's literally probably.
It is. Everything else around it is high. Remember?
Yeah.
Look at the line. I thought it could drain.
But one point I'd like to make is, I know this was an extreme year, we all know that. This problem has been going on for quite a few years. Go back to 2008 when Jim Witt did his assessment.
You
This
get
is
many.
a continuous problem. Because of that, the road is sinking. Because of the county tiles not draining correctly through that area, we have become a dumping ground.
It's draining correctly. It's just undersized nowadays.
Right, but
Which-
every rain it sets because it's not up to par.
How long does it last?
Well, we were at a month.
A month.
Over a month.
We were, yeah.
You've been underwater for a month?
Well, no.
We were in
Well, we
June.
were, and now we're back
Again.
again.
After a big rain, how long are you under?
Normally, nothing. I mean, this is the second one this year.
I mean, this year we just have had a lot more 5-inch rains than we normally have.
I know, but-
here.
But the road that is sinking
so
because
even
the
in-
water on both sides stays. Every time it rains, it stays. I'm not talking about just this year. This is a continuous problem.
Is the road sinking?
And it's peak, so probably.
Is there?
Yeah.
Because there's not. Usually you got to have a little bit heavier traffic to get it to sink too much.
But it's, like I say, it's on peak, so
Yeah.
could easily.
What would you do?
The most inexpensive option would be just to raise up the driveway, assuming that's something that the county is even legally able to do. Or the drainage district, I guess, not necessarily the county per se.
What would you do?
Logical fix is to raise the driveway, obviously, because I don't think we'd ever get an improvement done.
Even if you were to
You
get,
guys the cost.
even if you were to get the improvement put in, it still wouldn't likely correct the problem when you start getting a 5-inch rain every other day
shorten
for 2 days. It may shorten it,
A few
but
days, but yeah.
it'd still be underwater for
Because there's
a couple
you say
weeks
there's 100
possibly.
acres coming in there. That's a lot of water if you get 5 inches on top of it all.
One other thing, just a brief deal, if I would build out there with Tudas at the end of the driveway, it was a county road at one time, would you petition back to have a county road again?
How would we treat that?
It's entirely the county's choice. It's, you always can, but you don't have to. Nothing really requires us to adopt a road
Really?
or improve one.
Not to,
So
not to provide access?
Even if we have existing right of way and somebody asks to improve it, they don't have to. You're kind of like that Heimdall thing, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper for all of the taxpayers if we don't take back the road, but is Lat 6 classified by itself, or is it grouped in with 54?
Well, it is part of 54, Lat 6. I don't know if this goes into 6R, because it's...
There's a bunch of them that dump
There's
into
so many.
6.
There's a lot of 6s
There
when we
is.
were looking.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I think we need to do. We need to check the legality if they petition to put this back to a county road, will they succeed? If they can go through with that and get it back to the county road, then I think we should strike. This is just me thinking here now, so it's not in stone. That we would fix it as a county, one-time deal, raise it, and then vacate all easements.
We don't have right of way there.
I thought you just said we did. We had easement.
No, he's just saying if they do.
Oh, if.
It was a county road up until 81. At 81 it was vacated.
Well, that
See, it was always maintained as a county road at that point, up to that point.
poses a different scenario. Okay.
That's why I said we have to petition to have it put back as a county road.
Still, we should find that out, if that's, if they can do that, and if we had to put it back to the county road, it'd be cheaper for us just to raise the road, right? And get done with it, vacate it.
Us as in road
The county, not the district, no, the county.
The road department?
Yeah.
We can't legally spend money on private property.
In lieu of having to maintain it in perpetuity, I would think we could. I mean, the last figure I got was $1,000 a year to maintain a gravel road. Is that right?
Depend entirely upon the road.
Right, I know, but average. So, I mean, it would be in the county's interest to take care of this once and for all, and I'm just, there's a lot of ifs there, so am I making sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. Yes and no.
Seems like the only way.
We did the work last time, but it was billed to the district.
Right. Yep.
But we're not sure that was a legal process.
No, I mean, we used to do that all the time. I mean, the road department can do work for the districts and be reimbursed for it.
Right. But what I'm talking about, we're discussing now, is it legal for us to do that again?
So there's only 21 landowners.
There's only 21 parcels.
Parcels.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. Is Upland Properties, is that the courts?
What's that?
Upland Properties, is
Yes.
that the courts? Okay.
So there's 10?
Yeah, there's only 10 landowners.
I have a suggestion. It just popped into my mind. Turn in a petition to improve it, to get rid of this water. In all honesty, it's probably going to get voted down. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
And then work
Then
with
you're going to add engineering costs too.
right. Work with the landowners and say, okay, we can fix this for $20,000. Will you go along with that? And I'd find it hard. I would be hard pressed to believe they wouldn't go along with splitting that up and help pay for the raising of the road. I know I would.
Would it be
That's the
part
trouble. There's people who wouldn't, though.
Would it be part of the scope of work of the improvement to determine that scenario or the improvement to the tile? There's enough land out there that's probably not being farmed to where a lot of these people aren't going to want to improve the tile. Maybe it could be one of the choices in the improvement.
But they will when they want to go to sell it.
Tom, you're one of the biggest you're going to pay the most.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I'd like to raise the road, obviously, compared to doing the other.
I think you could sell that. We can't do
think
that.
About it.
You guys will have to do that. But I really do believe you could sell that. I really do.
Going back to, that the Winnebago County is the disaster area, and FEMA also. Would there be funds available to help out there from them? I mean, I know if it was our house, it would.
It didn't really destroy the road, though, and usually those kind of funds go to repair damage.
And have to be a public road.
And yeah, it washed out a public
It'll
road.
pay for
FEMA.
damage to the tile, but we don't know that this storm did damage to our tile.
Well, I do know the tile below the road, county tile, that road has, when you drive down it, it does one of these. Talking to the LaHarve guys, they were saying that that's going to have to be replaced sometime in the very near future, because that is a clay tile through there. They replaced it up to the east side of the road, but did not replace through the road. So that'll have to be done sometime soon anyway.
And if we're going to redo the road, then we want to.
At that point, yeah.
And are you talking the driveway or the highway?
Driveway.
Driveway.
But it's a county tile that goes underneath the driveway.
Okay.
And as you drive down it, the car does dip, and that's exactly where the tile is. When you go out in the field, you can see blowouts, you can see some issues out there to the west.
So how's the water flow?
Have we dug for inspections on this? Yeah, I thought we were checking all this out.
And back in 08, we put risers for a mile.
But LaHarve has been this year looking at.
He was actually looking quite a ways downstream from that.
Okay.
That's where he dug. He dug over in the by the pilot now blacktop.
And just do things over that way seem to be draining?
He said they were. I didn't get to look at that close.
I mean, the tile was full.
It was full, and you couldn't see it when you did it. So
They were flowing.
Yep. So it's working, and even if there is blowouts don't necessarily plug a tile,
No.
it just creates a hole.
I do know there's some blowouts over on
There is one.
by Barron's, right west of Barron's driveway. There's some.
Which
Couple
could
blowouts in
very
there.
possibly tell us that within a while.
It could help. Yeah.
But it's all going out now, so it would be affecting.
Since it is a private drive, that's what I would suggest. Call a meeting of
Of the
the
land.
10 landowners and say it's going to cost $300,000 to $400,000 to tile it, improve it, $20,000 to raise it. Please help us out. You know,
Do you have a list of those landowners that you can get us?
Can this be?
unfortunately, we can't do anything more. You know,
Should we be digging up and inspecting east of the driveway there? Is there problems there?
Their driveway?
Yeah.
There's risers there, so I know the hard looked at all those.
Okay.
And everything's full and flowing.
That's what they told me when I talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we have to treat this as an improvement if we decide to raise the driveway for the sake of the?
no, because there'll be a culvert. Nothing's affecting the flow of water. Correct?
Right.
That one's for me.
That's about all we can do, guys. You know, I guess if that doesn't work out, put the petition in to improve it, you know, and let it go through the process. I know it stinks.
There's surface water that never came across from the park. I don't know where it went before, but now it stretches. It comes from the park. The water that was never in the last two. I mean, we were in 2004 when we had the last big rain area. It was a week and it was gone down. We got 9 inches of rain in one day. But in all the years we're out there, nearly 40 years, there was never surface water coming across and feeding into it. And now there is.
I was going to say, Gravers we've lived out there almost 50 years, and Gravers have never had water sitting over there. It's like it's all coming together. Was there something that was drained differently in the last?
That's a question for the guy in front of you.
Randy.
Was grass.
Yeah, but I mean, there's grass in there now, but it's full.
Randy
It's been
Giesking
full
has been the
all year.
greenskeeper out at Bruce Recreation for 40 years, since the 70s. And he has never seen the number 2 green underwater, and it is underwater right now. Or be down now, but it's been underwater the last several days. So I mean, it's some of it's just Mother Nature.
And like Birchka's, is that all draining across into that open ditch? Is there any way to open ditch this out of there?
Well, he did that.
Well, there you again, you're
have an
coming
issue
into
with
our
that.
cost.
I know, but it addressed an issue though.
But it's
Open
not
ditch is
working
like $1 million
right,
a
but
mile,
it
is it?
But
helps.
it's getting, I mean,
Open ditch is like $1 million a mile.
Most neighbors will say it's fine.
Yeah.
How much does an open ditch cost?
We don't say it's fine. But
Part of it will depend on how many of your
Yeah.
outlets you've got, and your width somewhere between 500 and 750, 800,000
A mile, yeah. So you're talking a lot of money for an open
Depends on
ditch.
how deep you have to dig too.
Correct. It depends how much water you're trying to
Right.
convey with your bottom, what you got to go through slopes and your depth, and how many tiles are coming into it. It could be 300,000. It just
Well, we need to
I don't
wrap
have
this
that
up.
number off the top of my head.
I think, have a meeting with those 10 people. If there's no satisfaction, put the petition in to improve it. Then go from there. And that's really legally all we can do. So,
So
I
right
wish there
now,
was a better answer that we could give you, but
So who is supervisors in that drainage area? You guys?
we're the trustees. Yeah.
Trustees.
Yeah, the three of us. Yeah.
so as far as,
But here again, our hands are tied by law. So I mean, if you put a petition in, we present it, we give it to the district, and they'll decide 50-70 rule, and we'll have to go from there. I mean that's all we can do. So yeah.
is there any way we can drain our water into that open ditch up there a ways?
I don't know the elevations.
I mean,
That's there.
Are you
It's
talking
a way-
to the
Across the road, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's draining down now. You'd have to go the other way. It really is all draining into us right now.
Well, I mean, if you
From
look
both
at the
directions.
profile, it's a basin.
It's feet.
It's the lowest point for a couple of miles there.
Isn't that funny that Pilot Road is the highest, and then a couple feet away is the lowest?
It just seems like it's more drainage into our area though.
And then-
I didn't realize we were getting Pilot Knob's drainage. Have we always gotten drainage from back there? I don't.
Like through Tom's, back that way.
Where did you
Through
say?
Gravers. No, through Gravers.
See, Gravers, I don't remember
So
that
it comes
water
out
setting
it comes
in
out of
Gravers.
Pine Knob.
Yeah.
Goes clear back over to where Pine Knob entrance is, comes right out of there.
And it's never
You
changed,
get all the way up to
unless they come in with people
Right, I don't
along
see
and
how it
change
could
it.
change, but it just seems like.
so now there is a surface drain
Yeah.
along the bike path between Ruth Ann's house and Ralph's house.
I'm sorry, could you
There
say?
is a surface drain between Ruth Ann's house and the Ralph's house,
Okay.
right next to the bike path. But as the water does start to go down, that drainage is way too high, way too high.
The surface drain.
It's the surface drain. Because if that's what, I can see water flow into that when the water finally gets up that high where it's at the bike path. And it flows, definitely flows. But then once it becomes level with that drain, well then it just seems to set forever. So that drain right there, nobody's ever explained to me why that drain is so high.
And there's another one down along the line fence there too, but I don't know how.
Right.
One
Yep.
is.
And the drainage, the orange intake is still in the same spot from the first rain
Yep.
in June. That area has
3 months
never been
ago.
addressed. We're told, okay, that drainage tile, that intake needs to be redone because it was never big enough, never done right. The cone is still sitting in the same place. Granted, it took a long time to dry out, but they never even bothered to come back and address it. So not until we called and had this rain again, it's like things just set.
The cone floated towards the highway. You can see the cone.
It's
Probably on
sitting
this
there.
picture.
Yeah, it's sitting there.
Right, and it
It floated out of,
Who put the cone
I'm
down?
guessing the county put it in when they worked
I
on
think
it.
it's one of
Yeah, the cones to the
the
left.
orange
one of those
beehive
orange
things that
intakes.
came out.
Yeah, but I don't know who put the cone there.
No, it's been there for years.
Oh.
I think it's
It's
the
a valley
orange.
drainage.
Where are you headed after this?
Intake.
It's the
Back
intake.
to Mason?
Probably.
Why don't you guys go out with Drew and show him that?
Because those two intakes need to be addressed.
Okay.
Well, we can't show them where the intake is because you can't get to it.
They're
Yes,
underwater.
it's wasted
Well, you can
underwater.
point close to it, and then that'll get closer to the maps, so.
Yep.
All right,
I just want to clarify what it
Yes.
is we're doing as a district and privately. We've hired Veenster and Kim to find out a problem. He feels right now that obviously the tile is undersized, which we knew. And you want them to try and talk to the landowners to see about maybe raising up the driveway. Do we need Veenster and Kim services anymore? Right now.
To address that intake issue, and
The intake
that'll be up to
issue.
Drew after he looks at it with.
Okay.
the Kelly.
I just want to make sure that we know what we've hired him to do.
Yep.
Right now, we're hiring him to check out the intakes.
And this is under lat 6, right?
R.
Oh,
Are we moving to 6? I don't know where we're at now.
just
Is
6R?
it still 6R?
Because the problem to me seems to
Actually,
be
no,
all
you're
of
gonna be
6.
moving to another lap.
Because then that would be 6 main
6R
tile.
joins to where before the intake that we're talking about. So you're moving to the next.
You can determine that.
I can take a look at it and see.
Yeah.
So it should be
The
6
names
main
don't
tile or
come
6R.
together. No, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
I think anyway, the intakes they're talking about would be on the main.
Okay.
Yep.
They're actually in the height and the DOT right away, I believe. Does that sound right?
Yep,
And then the-
right off the side of the bike trail. That's probably DOT. If I
And
remember
then
right.
is that their intake?
No, the intake is behind your house. Or,
We're talking two-way, the one by the bike path
oh
and the
yeah,
one
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
by the
That
road.
would be on the highway.
So the bike path one is the DOT's and we
Yeah.
can't touch that.
The other one's probably in Graver's land down a ways.
And then that would be
Because it's on
6
the other
main
side of the
tile.
fence.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out where we're all at with all of this.
Right.
That one is probably on the lateral,
On the
One in the-
6th tile.
6R,
Oh, it is.
and then the one in the highway ditch would be on the main.
But that's DOT and we can't touch that one.
Without their
That's
permission.
one that's high.
That was
Yes,
really high.
that-
So would
Okay,
they
here-
have put
here-
that in? The DOT, would they have put the intake in?
Yeah.
So they
It's
put it in
offset.
too high.
If
It's a
the one
cement,
on-
it's a cement with
Actually,
a
we're
big,
gonna do
iron grate on
That's
top.
fine, yeah.
It's not draining.
It's not.
It's not draining,
Or
it's
it's too
not,
high.
it's too high.
So they put it in wrong.
Well, either that or it is settled, because it is peat. I mean, it does settle out there because of peat. And, you know, with all the water, it's moving.
But if
around.
there's water around the orange intake, that means the tile below the ground is too high, it's gotta be lower to get the, yeah. Anyway, here's what I suggest, talk to the landowners. If that doesn't work, put your petition in. Go out with Drew and see if the problem might get mitigated by that one intake, who knows, you know? And we'll go from there.
It won't eliminate it, it just
Well,
might
it won't
speed up,
eliminate it, but it
speed up
might
the drainage
mitigate it.
a
Water
few
as high as
days.
it's ever been, though.
Yeah,
And the only reason I ask that is because we should have an elevation of that. So if it does happen that the district raises the driveway, we make sure and get it high enough.
It's the same height.
It's actually, it's almost, it's right at the bottom of that gas,
Yes.
so that's as high as it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's never flooded the gas lines, the electric box, but it's right there. So that's a good point, or not.
Would be a good idea just to get that elevation.
Right.
So you have a reference point.
Yeah, that new box, they have out there.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
in, it's in
Yep.
water.
Almost.
That's
up.
in water.
It's in
Yeah.
I
water.
can get that. I'll probably just I'll go off of Highway 9 and come down for distance and then get an actual GPS elevation on it too.
All right?
So everybody's on the same page?
So far.
Okay.
Thank you.
claims?
Yeah, we did
We
that.
did do that. All right. I didn't cross it off. It seemed like I remember we did it. And I seconded it, but I didn't cross it off on my, I think I did.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, I'm still looking at it.
Okay. Social services. You have water?
You guys already signed it.
Yep.
We
Tell
haven't
you
approved
anything?
it yet.
I know.
We're a little anxious.
Well, we need a
I'll make a
motion
motion
to approve it.
approve the letter of withdrawal from the county social services.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bill, seconded by Terry, to withdraw from the county's social services. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Roll call on that one?
You can do it any way you want, really. It's up to the governing.
I just wanted to make sure, you know, that
I've
you
been
guys
told
were
not to,
unanimous
so-
on this whole thing. You've been dragging your heels on it.
Well, somehow he got the open meetings law stuff tossed out. So. The state decided to drop charges or whatever. I don't know what
They're not going to address any health issues. The state isn't right now. They know they screwed up big time.